Hi, Antoinette. Hi, everyone.
Good evening, Louise, and everybody. Hi.
Okay, so first of all, because you sound wobbly to me, I want to ask everyone to just, or somebody, just to let us know if they can hear both of us and see both of us. Because last week we had a comedy show. Um, accidentally, somebody on YouTube posted that it was very funny, and then I had to go and see where did we stop because I couldn't remember what we're supposed to talk about this week, and I watched it. It was very funny, so, but I'm going to remove it. I don't want to be a comedy show. So, if anybody wants to
Mhm.
see a comedy show, you need to go and look very quickly because I'm going to remove it, edit it out, make it look polished. Yeah, as near as polished as we can get. Okay, so I'm waiting for somebody to show up and tell us if the sound is good or not. I do want to warn everyone that I have just learned how to hotspot because I have zero internet tonight. It's tonight here. And so that's why I need somebody to tell us if they can actually hear us and see us and if we sound fine. Okay, Antoinette. So last week we were trying to get to the subject of self-care and balance, but we just talked about so many other things that we didn't get there. So this week we are there, here, right?
Yeah, with sound and everything.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for
I,
somebody to say yes, we can hear you or not. Okay, so we chose that topic because you've noticed over the last few months that your self care is not what it should be, and and then you've been very adamant about not this, not that, which is not a bad thing. So that's how we started with the one topic of alcohol. But it's the adamant. Adamant is not bad. I don't want anybody to think that adamant is a bad thing. Adamant is really good. But when we don't have balance, then um, in somebody who's got perfectionistic and self-punishing tendencies, I don't know if you can own those or not. I think enough people have watched this now to to, to go with that one, hey? Perfectionistic and self-punishing tendencies. Can you own it?
oh, I used to be exceptionally perfectionistic. I think I've dropped a lot of it, but possibly when it comes to my own self and my standards for myself, I don't know. I never thought I was self-punishing, but you've said that to me a few times recently, and so I've been observing it. Yeah, I'm very, very hard on myself and very self-punishing, I guess, as in, yeah, no, maybe that's why. So I wanted to ask you a question. Why do people have these black and white, absolute self-punishing, control freak type things?
Oh, such a good question.
Perfectionism.
Yeah, and I love this question because there are actually such a lot of people who do this exact thing of, and it all comes from that childhood learning of us of ours, where we had trauma and we got into the habit of I have to be better, and then everything else will be better, and so the trauma that we experience can make us quite harsh with ourselves, which is the last thing we need because the trauma is supposed to get somebody who is loving and kind and caring and compassionate in order for us to heal our wounds. But now we don't get it, and we don't know that because we are small. We just keep on doing this. Now, in order to fix this, we have to then reparent ourselves. And we have to be loving and kind and compassionate and encouraging and give consequences if we have to give ourselves consequences just like a parent should be giving us consequences if our behavior is not um, good for us, but not to the point that we are harsh. That's why we say self-care is balance. Balance. There is no self-care without balance. Because we have to know, when is it this little child that says, I have to work harder, I have to be better, I'm never going to be supported. There's never going to be anything for me. I mustn't have expectations. I must work, 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 work. I must try, try, try. I must push, push, push. I must make things happen. And I don't have wants and needs, and everybody around me have wants and needs that are more important than mine. That is what we have to drop. So we have to get into balance where we can encourage ourselves lovingly and believing in ourselves lovingly and wanting the best for ourselves lovingly, and put boundaries on ourselves encouragingly, and just that tiny little balance, the tiniest little balance, so it's not harsh.
Yeah, it's intellectually easy to understand. It's not such an easy thing to implement. I think because it's not. I don't know what you mean by childhood trauma, but a lot of criticism in childhood, or having to do a certain thing to please a parent to get any kind of positive feedback. Yeah, I think there's a whole suite of things that have gone together with it for me, and I'm sure all of us, like people pleasing and struggling with authenticity and boundaries. And so I've managed boundaries with a lot of people, but now I find myself, I set boundaries for myself and then I don't honor them, which is interesting. And then I get very harsh on myself. So instead of just having this balance, but balance is like walking a tightrope. Some guy posted something on my Facebook group today underneath this advert, and he said it's like walking a tightrope, actually. And when our arms are open, we can balance, but we still tend to go like. And I think something also from the brain, I did Kerry's brain assessment and I'm looking at doing the brain training, and I've been doing a little bit of reading, and I've realized when we have a lot of trauma, often we cut off our heads, run the show. So our heads are going 10 to the dozen and we disconnected from our bodies actually. And when you're constantly in your head like that all the time, and a lot of it's berating yourself, sure, it's a very completely disconnected from your body, actually. So you might be putting green juice in your mouth or exercising every day, but you're creating other problems or negating the health benefits of that through this constant harsh chatter in the head.
Yes, exactly. So I just want to quickly check if somebody can just tell us if they can hear both of us, please, and if they can see both of us, so that we can see if this hotspot idea of mine is actually working or not. I'll be really happy if somebody can just post a comment for us. Okay, so it's not an intellectual thing. This is the thing, Antoinette. It's none about this reparenting thing is intellectual. It's logical, analytical, and then we have to go and we have to put into action how we really want it to be parented. And the best way to get there is for us to close our eyes and to imagine a little girl or a little boy, and you fall over steps and your knee is bleeding just a little bit. Nobody's going to die, but it's just bleeding a little bit. And somebody comes and say, it's all okay, little one. It's so okay. Don't worry. I'm going to help you. We're going to fix this. It's not big. It's not serious. Come. Let me fix it for you and let me give you a hug. There. That feeling. So if anybody's been playing along, that feeling. What's that feeling? What's the name of that feeling?
Self-compassion, love.
No. This is what we receive. I am seen in that moment. Somebody saw my pain. That's the first thing. Somebody noticed me and my pain. I am important to this person. They stopped. They are giving me time and attention. I am worthy of compassion. Somebody gave me compassion just now. I am therefore not invisible. I am an important person. That is what we are supposed to learn as children. You didn't get that. You have to give it to yourself because tough shit, you're not having that childhood again. It's done. You, as an adult, have got this power for you to reparent yourself into cola. What is it that I really, really needed? What is that craving inside me? I don't even have a name for it, but what is that craving inside me? What is it that I need? I promise you, nobody needs harshness. No one needs harshness. Everybody needs to be seen and to have compassion for themselves and for and to value themselves. It's universal. Everyone needs this. Now we've got this other thing going on which stops us. We've got this idea that if I don't push myself or punish myself or make myself pay or is harsh to myself, tough on myself, I'm going to do nothing. It's the weirdest belief system that we have, that there's nothing between being harsh and being useless. We don't have, that's the key. No, we talked about black and white thinking last week. We're still talking about black and white thinking. This is how the brain is working when you are small. There's nothing in between. And then we take this and we take it to adulthood. And look how wrong that is. I've got to be harsh because if I'm not, I'm going to be a slacker, I'm going to be useless, I'm going to do nothing. It's not true. In fact, people that are encouraged and people who are believed in perform better. Always. So if we are encouraging ourselves and we believe in ourselves, we are not going to need so many of these alcohol or illnesses or being unhappy or feeling depressed. We're not going to need so much of it because we're going to start filling ourselves up. It's not abstract. It is what do I do and where do I start? That's all of it. And if you don't have those tools, it's still not abstract. It just means you need to go to somebody who has the tools and who will say to you, here's a tool, go try it. It's very practical, very, very easy. No more self-bashing as of today. There, as a tool. Not, this is not, this is, and it's not impossible to do. You can stop self-bashing yourself in 2-3 days and just never ever do it again. It's possible. Been there, done that. Okay, so who's with me there? Who's going to stop self-bashing? Just if you do nothing else, just check the language that you use for yourself. You sucker, you useless piece of shit, you stupid. How do you not know this? How do you talk to yourself? Start paying attention. Right there. How do you think about yourself? Stop doing it.
Yep. And how does this tie in with the self-care balance?
Because it's the middle. It's not I have to be harsh, or the other side, I will if I don't do any if I'm not harsh, I will be useless. It's what we do. It's where the balance is to be in the middle, where we stop the harshness. If you stop the harshness, you have other tools to put in the place of it. The encouraging, the believing in yourself, and then you will automatically be self-caring. This is called self-care. To be nice to yourself. Duh. Hello. Be nice to yourself. It's called self-care. The biggest and best self-care in the world that you can give to yourself. You know, fancy creams and spa treatments all the time. If you're going to be nasty to yourself, it's not going to change anything. It's superficial. The biggest, the best thing you can do to yourself is to be nice to yourself. That's self-care.
Mm-hmm.
You don't sound convinced.
No, I am convinced completely. I'm saying yes. Yes, I think it's a combination of things, but being kind to ourselves is maybe a part of self-care that people miss. Like
Yeah,
I could
exactly.
me, I would eat healthy, exercise, meditate, etc., but I was very hard on myself in my head. So I guess
Mhm.
that's what you're saying, yeah.
Exactly. And now what we
Mm.
do is now we want to do all these external things, but we don't take away being hard on ourselves. So even in our self-care rituals, we are practices, whatever you want to call it, we are still harsh to ourselves. Find the balance. And I don't do understand. I think we talked about it last time. I do understand that there are certain things which we just have to have a dead no about. I have a dead no about preservatives and sugar because I can't do it. My body doesn't like it, and I just don't function with it. So I have a dead no about it. And then we have things that we are supposed to have a really great yes for, like exercise and being with friends and relaxing enough and eating food that's good for us. So there's all these great, laugh a lot, have fun, try new things. So there's always good activities that we want to bring in, but not being harsh. Just like loving and kind. Of course, I'm going to have fun today. Of course, I'm going to read a book today because I love myself. And because I love myself, it's my job to take care of me. And I'm going to take care of me that way.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is medical scientific research is showing now that the brain has a huge effect on everything, our health, on everything, our moods. And if we keep on doing this negative self talk, it doesn't matter how much healthy food and stuff we put in our mouth. As you know, I had an anti cancer lifestyle and I got very sick. And I've only just recently started reading stuff about this that actually that's really what creates 85% of diseases now, they're saying, are started in the mind. So Carolyn May says you can have as much green juice as you like, but someone who has a good thought life that doesn't have a toxic thought life can eat dog food and be healthier. And that is
Exactly.
a really fundamental truth I struggle to come to grips with, but the science is showing it now. So much of it is in our head. So we got to rewire our brains, actually. Yeah. So your coaching is very helpful for this.
So I mean, when you explain it like that, explain the science of it. It does sound like this is abstract, and how do I even do this, and where do I start? And that's why I'm take care to explain in very clear, everyday language examples that anybody can go and implement in their life. Start treating yourself the way that you want to parent somebody. You think about a little girl, a little boy that you want to parent. Parent yourself like that, you know? Be that parent for yourself. And that means start treating yourself like that with loving kindness, but still firm boundaries and let yourself have the consequences. You're going to have them anyways, whether you think you're not going to have them. And but accept it as part of your journey, your choices. And just don't be harsh. Just be, I messed up today. Um, Tomorrow I start again. Oh, this day is over. Look at the language. This day is over. I've tried my best. There are no more hours in this day. Right now, I'm going to call it a day, and tomorrow I carry on. Because right now, I need to have a good meal. I'm going to watch something funny so that I can relax. I'm going to sleep well. Tomorrow I'm fresh. I'm carrying on. That is what we mean with not being harsh to ourselves. No, I must, I have to, I should have, oh, that word, I should have, that. Drop that language and do the encouraging and the accepting of reality. Of this is the reality of it. Today I had too much sugar. Tomorrow I'm going to have a migraine. I messed up. I, I'm not going to do it again. You know, that is the kind of, I didn't sleep well last night. Often.
I had an intuitive thing come to me in my daily practice 2 days ago. It was quite interesting. You know, in some African culture, I think it is, or South American, when someone in the community has messed up, whether they've committed a crime or they are mad, mentally unstable, they form a circle around them and then they tell them all the good things about that person. They tell that person all the good things about that person.
Wow. I
Yeah,
love
isn't that?
that.
And it's been proven to be very healing in these small tribal communities. So I actually did that with myself the other morning. I put myself in the middle and then I put all these other versions of myself around the center. And I started saying all the positive things and the strengths to myself because I've been so hard on myself for so long. And it's absolutely incredible how many there are. So I've decided to keep a diary now, actually. Not a diary, like a gratitude journal thing, but I'm just writing down at the end of every day the things, the strengths that I have and the things I was good at, because a
Mm.
mind like mine tends to focus very, very much on what didn't happen, what could have been better, how bad I was, blah, blah, blah.
That, Antoinette, is everybody's brains. Everybody has been born with a negativity bias. Everyone.
Wow.
Some of us are better with seeing the cup half full than others. But each and every one of us, in order to survive in the world, the way that evolution has happened, and we are living in caves and we are going to be eaten alive if we don't scan and watch for the threat. So we are built that way. In order to survive, we need to scan and watch for the threat. And of course, it is being amplified when you, as a child, have gone through trauma or you've had big disappointments. Then you are becoming a super scanner, and everything is about scanning. And when you don't get enough of this affirmation, you're okay, and I love you the way you do, the way you are, even although I don't like what you've done. Your scanning abilities is the thing that makes you feel in control of whatever is going on, because you feel like you can predict what's going to happen. So everybody's brain has a negativity bias. And when I do counseling, and when I do especially couples counseling, I get to a stage where I start saying, Martin, leave it alone. When I say, let's start asking what went right this week. What was, because we walk in the way like this one did this and that one was that, and that was terrible, and we forget that there is a lot of things going right. And even when people have been coming to me for a little while because it changes, I like this. Here's my hand. I like this. But people don't see it because it's little changes. And then I have to say 3 months later or 6 months later, I have to say, what was your self-esteem when you started coming? And what, if you think about your anxiety levels, if you think about how you feel about yourself today, what's the difference from 3 months ago or 6 months ago? And then people's eyes were like, wow, I did not notice that. And that's how the brain works. We don't notice the positive. We have to start looking for it. We have to make a point. And that's why gratitude journals or positivity journals or whatever it is so great, because it changes the brain's natural negativity bias. And we have to train it. Like Rick Hansen says, you've got to incline your mind towards the positive, because it's automatic. It's automatic, the scanning. And then you build new neural pathways. It's just little bit by little bit by little bit. Nobody builds a new neural pathway overnight, except if you go to Kerry and she does brain retraining on you. People like that who does neurofeedback. But otherwise, you have to do it little bit by keeping a practice up for about 6 weeks. And then you've built the new neural pathway. So 6 weeks of doing a gratitude journal compared to I'm going to feel low, sad, negative, depressed, scared, anxious for the rest of my life. We compare that. What's that little bit of hassle of actually making the effort, set the clock, set the alarm clock, get out the journal and write in it. This is what's good. This is what's good about me. This is what's good about what I've achieved, what's happened. Really good practice, and one that will get you more into balance.
Yeah, I don't know. I did gratitude journals for many, many years, and I still was unhappy and stuff because I don't know. Some of these practices like that, I think they're good, but if they come with the feeling, you can take out a book and write down 10 things you're grateful for. It's really easy for someone like me. I've got a nice house, I live in paradise, I've got enough money. But do I really feel better when I write all that stuff, or am I just once again putting the green juice down my throat? And it's interesting that there's a subtlety there, because I think those practices are important, but we have to bring full attention and deep feeling to them, I think, to try and feel.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know,
you need
yeah.
to get the cognitive understanding. I don't think if you just do it like, let me be fluffy and be all positive, and, then we are masking what's underneath and we're not working with the deep stuff. But if you are intentional and you know that what you're doing right
Intentional.
now, very intentional, if you know that what I'm doing now, when I'm having this journal, I'm changing my brain from always being scanning and looking out for the worst. You're doing it with a different intention. If you, like you said, are looking for all the things that are positive about you and you write it down, you do it with a mindset of, I am worthy, I am valuable, I love myself. Look, I celebrate myself. Look at what's there that I'm not noticing. You change your mindset about it. It's not just a fluffy thing. Somebody gave me a meditation by Louise Hay, in which she was a gratitude one, in which she was thanking the fridge and thanking the kettle for being there. I couldn't do it because it's fluffy. That's not what we're talking about. That is really masking the real problem. That's superficial thankfulness. It's good to, don't be unhappy about your fridge and your kettle, but that is not the neuro psychology training that our brains need. It's not the rewiring that our amygdala needs. That is
Yeah,
fluffy.
it can actually be spiritual bypassing that. If
And
I
that's
look
what
back
we
on my
definitely,
life,
yeah.
to do those kind of practices, that's why it's like there's two sides to this coin, because there can be a kind of form of, well, I do my journal every day, I do my gratitude every day, I do my meditation, I do my yoga, and now I'm going to be set for the day. And 2 hours into my day, I'm getting triggered and I'm having negative thoughts because I just did that as a kind of practice which was meant to heal all, and it didn't until it became very intentional. That's a beautiful word.
Yeah, but Antoinette, we have to understand that people don't have these tools. We just don't have it. Nobody teaches us this. It's very logical once you understand, once you've heard these things and you start applying it, they're very logical and they're amazing and they change your life absolutely. Like you cannot go back once they've changed your life. There are just certain things you can't go back. And but we don't have it. So if we only have fluffy stuff, we're going to be doing the fluffy stuff. And therefore, I don't judge anybody because it's hard to get this deep inner child healing trauma kind of work. It's hard to find people who are practitioners of it, who knows what they're doing. So if you don't have anything else to do, and you want to do yoga and you want to meditate and you don't have access to to real deep trauma work or rewiring your self work, and you don't have somebody to help you find your blind spots because it's hard to see our own blind spots, then doing those practices, meditating and yoga and all of those things, the body practices is going to help us, and especially meditation. It's never a negative, never, 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 because it learns we learn that we can slow down our mind. We don't have to respond to everything. We have control over our mind. So meditation is like absolutely amazing. If you have nothing else, then do meditation, do these body practices. But it's
Yeah,
not
but you
never going to
said to
take
me,
you everywhere.
yeah, I think you said to me once, or someone said so for those 2 hours, when you're meditating, and maybe for meditation does create that peace, but until you've done the real inner work, in 6 sessions with you, I got more healing than I did in 10 years. Please, I meditate every day of my life. I think yoga is amazing. All of that grounding, journaling. But 10 years of it didn't do for me what you did in 6 sessions. And now I do it in a very different way, because firstly, it can be a form of, you told me once, because I can go out there and zone out with God. I really can. And you told me it's a form of disconnection. What's it called? Dissociation. So that's one thing I was doing. I thought I was meditating, but I was dissociating actually. And secondly, I was amazingly peaceful for that hour or two, and maybe even an hour afterwards. And then something would happen in my day, and I'd be right back down. And so over time, I started getting, I don't know if you would call it cognitive dissonance, but I started feeling guilty and very frustrated with myself because I could connect with God and I can do this beautiful peaceful meditation and grounding in nature. And then in the middle of the day, I'm losing my shit, and I'm stressed and I'm anxious and I'm fearful. And then I start feeling bad because I'm like, no, I'm doing all these practices. So there becomes this kind of, it made me worse in some ways. And please, I don't want to discourage anybody from doing any of these practices. But when you know what you know, but you can't live it, it creates a lot of discomfort, actually.
Yeah, Antoinette, I agree with you. I mean, I used to do these hour-long meditation sessions. I loved them. It's amazing. I love it. And it did teach me that I can control the monkey mind, which is one of the most beneficial things, that you can control your monkey mind, because many of us have got monkey mind. But despite all of that, I was desperately unhappy. It was like you say, that hour was great. But even in that hour, it didn't bring me happiness. But now I can be busy and all over and I'll not meditate for a month, or have a busy, hectic life. But the calm and the centeredness, which is now inside me, which comes from loving kindness to myself, that is it. Really, 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 it's the secret. That calm and centeredness inside myself never goes away. It's there. It's there in post-traumatic stress disorder, when people are rioting next to you. It is, I'm going to go back to it. It's bad now. I'm going to go back to it. I'm going through this, but I'm going back to the center, the core of me. Because when you've done all the work, and you've done the neutralizing, and you've learned how to be peaceful with yourself, that center, calm, grace never goes away again. You can go back to it, and you know it's there, and you allow yourself to go and be really upset by trauma, like when people are rioting next to you, and but you know that inside you're still going to be amazingly fine and calm once you have worked through what is distressing you right now.
But that unspeakable peace comes from a combination of things, and a lot of it, in my experience, is from the cognitive developmental work that you take people through and the self love work, that kind of self care. That combined with practices and other things can, over time, get one into that space. And I don't know, maybe not for you, but I've been in and out of that space. I mean, about 6 months ago, I had unspeakable peace. In October, November, and December, I went through hell again mentally, and now I'm good again. So it also seems to maybe go to another layer or level, or maybe.
Then you know there's still something. Because when it can go away, there's something that it's telling you it needs to be addressed. It tells
There's
you.
more,
It's your
yeah.
messenger. But I just want to clarify, the way you get to that peace and grace is through getting help with your unresolved traumas. You have to work through your unresolved traumas, and there are many, many ways of doing it. Some of it's cognitive, some of it's body work, but I don't know that anybody can do all that work by themselves. I honestly don't know. And I don't
It's
think one should.
impossible. It's
Yeah, I don't think
impossible.
one should. You need support. You need somebody to be there for you for once. And the other way is really self-love. Trauma work, trauma releasing, even the ones we don't know what it was, even the ones we normalized, the ones invisible to us. We have it. We all have it. And then the actual active work. It's not cerebral, it's active work of putting in place the practices that tell you that you're a valuable person. We've been lucky.
So spending money on yourself for something like coaching with you, I think, is a very high level of self-care. And of course, a lot of us, as you know, adult children, we think we can fix it all ourselves, you know.
And
And
people spend money and and to do coaching with me, and they still want to coach themselves. It happens. So that's part of our adult heart syndrome. And yes, it's so hard for us to put ourselves first in the queue and to spend money on ourselves. And that's very often one of the first steps that we have to do, because it's such a practical thing to do, and it's such a change of habit. But there are other changes of habit which is equally, it's like deciding to trust somebody else. It's deciding to trust somebody else with your feelings and your emotions, how you really feel. That's a big change. That's a very practical change. And being nice to yourself, be taking care of yourself, that's a very big one. So there are a few big ones, and there's lots of little things that we can do that's practical and that has near instant positive effect on your life.
yeah, and you're very good at setting homework that brings pretty
I
quick
love
results.
homework.
Astounding. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
your
love
homework's
homework.
unique. I
And
loved
it
your
works.
homework.
Yeah,
Yeah, it works.
everybody gets different homework, and people get strange homework. Sometimes I'd send you to the corner shop to go and buy a lollipop. Just please, in heaven's name, go and buy your lollipop, because there's a reason for that. So that's like some of the homework that people get. But this homework is not for everybody. I'm not giving everybody homework of buying a lollipop. I'm giving everybody homework of watch how you speak to yourself and get rid of all the harshness. No more being harsh to yourself. Start with that. That's doable homework, even if you've done it all of your life. It's no reason to say I can't stop it. You can stop it. So start with a thing that feels impossible to you. Okay, and we don't have any comments. We don't have any answers. I don't understand it. I don't even know if anybody's hearing us. I feel so lonely and I don't see any hearts. The people,
Maybe they decided after last week that they're not coming.
Be very careful before they give us hearts. They just give us very tentative little blue likes. Okay, people, I need some likes there. Okay, so some hearts. And then I'm going to be happy. Okay, and
And
I
we
mean,
had no interruptions tonight. So come on,
yeah, but
everybody, give us.
I still don't know if people can hear us or not. I am a little bit worried because we normally have comments. So, but I know nobody heard any of my garden frogs here, so there was no complaints. So at least there's no complaints. But I do want to know if anybody is watching. I mean, there are people watching. I can see they're watching. Then it'd be great if you let us know if you could actually hear this and if there's any questions. Okay, so we wanted to go for 20 minutes. Hotspotting is working. Wow, who knew? Always learn something new with technology. Okay, so thank you to everybody who's watching, everybody who's coming in the replay. Please share. Everybody's watching now. Please share, comment, give us some hearts. I'm still watching. Right above the screen. I can see how many people are watching, who's watching, and there are no hearts. I'm not going to take it personally, but I am missing the hearts. Okay, Antoinette,
Good
I think
night.
we managed this, right? No,
Hey,
no interruptions. We managed.
hallelujah.
Thank you so much for bringing your struggles, because I know there's a lot of people who are relating to these things that we are talking about. Thank you for being brave, and thank you for speaking out and being willing to share it here, on this platform, so that everybody else can learn from this. That is why we do these things. Our book is out. It's in paperback. All of us are doing this so that all of us are telling our story. So our book, Trauma to Thrive, is out. It's in paperback. I've got it on minimum price on Amazon. And so you can go and order it. Okay, anything that I miss? Oh, and this weekend we've got another edition of a men's summit. So we've got more conversations, and on Sunday you'll be able to watch every episode of every conversation one more time for 24 hours. So don't plan to go far from internet this weekend because these things are so valuable. And don't you agree, Antoinette?
Yeah, they're very good. Especially, it's so cool to have men talking on these summits. Oh.
Yeah, it's they are. I mean, I love these guys. I've told all of them I'm in love with every one of them. But they are awesome guys, and the new ones, such great content. Can't wait for everybody to hear it. It is absolutely amazing content. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you, Antoinette, and we.
Thanks, Louise.
Oh, I've got a live on next Sunday. It's not going to be a tiny seat. It's going to be an hour-long live where people are welcome to join me on Zoom, and I'm going to talk about feeling our feelings because a lot of us are scared to death of feeling our feelings. And so, if anybody's interested about that, I will send the invite out tomorrow or Thursday. You can sign up and you can join, and you can join me in the studio, and you can.
This Sunday, Louise, this coming Sunday.
But Sunday, the normal time that I always do Sunday seats, I'm going to do an hour
Okay.
long. Yeah, so anybody who doesn't know how to feel their feelings or fear feeling their feelings, you're very welcome. I hope you're going to enjoy. And I know there are so many of us out there who's got that fear or that don't know even how to do it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Antoinette. And lots
Thanks,
of love
Louise.
to everyone.
Bye, everyone.